have you heard of this system? Don't care. Blaine, your balance changes to D&D sound a lot like this system. Oh, do they now? Blaine, none of the issues you have with D&D are a problem in Pathfinder. I get it, okay? All of you play like 5 dozen different tabletop systems. Up until now, I've only played D&D 5e, so I'm gonna crack open the Pathfinder 2e book just this once and see if there's anything even worth talking about. Marshals have unique abilities. Spellcasters aren't nearly as broken. Magic items aren't 10 paragraphs long. Everything's so organized, well thought out, balanced, engaging, action-packed, straight to the point, customizable, flavorful. Yeah, maybe I should talk about this system now, huh? At the time of this video's release, I've been studying up on Pathfinder 2e rules for about 2 weeks now, and if there's anything I can already say, it's that the 2e community and crazy challenge niches are about to explode soon. And if you've been a fan of me for years now and agree with most of my takes regarding 5e, do yourself a favor and just make the switch. Anime fans are also eating good in Pathfinder. You can be a katana-wielding kitsune in the official books for crying out loud. You're here for that juicy clickbait title though, so let's get into it. Unlike D&D, Pathfinder 2e does a great job at covering its bases, ensuring unintended rules and weird nonsense gets shot down before it even gets a quarter of the way there. But as an expert game breaker with multiple years of D&D tomfoolery under my belt, I've already found some cheat codes which will give us more than enough HP to survive any amount of physical or emotional damage I wind up drawing for the upcoming frames. In this series, we push the limits of game rules to bump numbers of any type as high as possible, playing nicely with the core rulebooks to prove how in any system there's always a game-breaking mechanic to make fun of. As we continue, we'll cover a ton of different methods to crank your HP as high as possible until we reach the theoretical limit I could come up with. But if I gotta say, choosing to start with infinite HP in Pathfinder was a tough move. Through scouring the catalogs of items, class features, and ancestries, those are like races in D&D, became both impressed and nervous with Pathfinder's insistence on giving characters temporary hit points over normal hit points. And although I'm also counting temp HP for this video, we can't boost these numbers up all that high. Temporary hit points don't stack on top of each other, so gaining any through multiple methods will just cancel one of them out. Basically, half of this entire build boils down to one choice. What thing in Pathfinder gives the most temporary HP? After digging through every item imaginable, I think I found our golden goose. Ablative armor plating. A steampunk style add-on you can just stick to your chest, which provides 40 temporary hit points. It takes 10 minutes to strap on and falls apart after an hour, giving me PTSD flashbacks from the old Baldur's Gate video games, where you'd notice an enemy and spend 5 minutes casting spells behind a bush before the combat would begin. Yeah, this item's a bit clunky, but we can't ignore the huge boost in hit points it gives once you set it up. If we train ourselves hard enough to gain the rank of Legendary Inventor and grab the magical crafting feat, we can make bundles of these trinkets every month, cutting the atrocious 8,000 gold piece cost in half for an item with a slightly longer lifetime than a stick of extra gum. So we have our armor, but what about the rest of our character? Well, in 2e, nearly all of your coolest abilities and augmentations come from feats, individual powers you gain over the course of the game to customize your progression. Feats have requirements like being a certain class, having certain amounts of HP, or growing up around certain ancestries, so to get the most health in every scenario, we need to choose our character's lifestyle wisely. Although dwarves are naturally hardier right off the bat, being a lizard folk who was raised by dwarves is so much better. Why? Well, not only does all that drinking and mining make us strong and stout, but it also unlocks a dwarvish feat later on that maxes out at 20 extra hit points. And since we're a lizard folk, one of the last feats we'll grab has us go through some weird caterpillar-like metamorphosis, waking up the next day twice the size and with 20 extra health. See, in Pathfinder, your lizard folk raised by dwarves can go through a reptilian rebirthing transformation, but that D&D meanie over there doesn't allow it in their system. Finally, we can become a barbarian because unlike in other games where magic reigns supreme, being the stereotypically bulkiest class in the game gives you exactly what you're looking for. Snags you another 12 hit points every level, bumping the total up another 240. Considering Constitution is a stat that just flat out gives us more HP every level, maxing this out next is a no-brainer. Whenever the game lets you grab an ability score increase, drop it into your con. You get 3 chances to do so at level 1 and another 4 as you level up. What did you do in your heritage's free time? Smash rocks over your head. How did you make a living? As a barkeep, obviously. And then to hit the cap of 22, tighten a magical belt of regeneration on your waist for that final +2 bonus. And just through your con, we gained 120 more hit points. And finally, to wrap up this build, smashing our head with more rocks grabs us the toughness feat, and warping our skin with the golem grafter feat finishes things off with another 40 points. Although it may sound like a lot, a build like this isn't anything too out of the ordinary, and comes pretty natural to a growing Pathfinder character, making a quest to get the most health achievable without the risk of drawing the ire of your game master. Magic gear can be crafted easily if you're smart, rich, or have the time to spare, and feats are thrown around left and right during character advancement. But regardless, tallying all the numbers up for this build sits us at a whopping 508 hit points. For all the normies out there looking for a borderline min-maxing character build, there's the recipe. And with the sanest attempt at maxing out our HP complete, let's try to get a little crazier with Plan B. Remember that belt I mentioned before? Well, belts in Pathfinder seem to have a recurring theme of providing HP for some reason. And although this one just bumps our constitution up a few points, another exists called the Belt of Good Health, which gives us a flat 4. In Pathfinder, you can invest, or attune, in up to 10 different magic items. And since the regen belt counts as one, we still have 9 slots left to meddle around with. And what better way to fill them up than with another 9 belts, specifically the Belts of Good Health. They don't all need to be tied to the waist, as any reasonable person can agree belts tied around the chest, arms, and thighs are just as viable, some more than others. The community also seems to agree that if it's not too goofy looking, like trying to wear 2 pairs of shoes for instance, or providing a bonus to your dice rolls, it can count. Now an extra 36 hit points is nothing special, but Belts of Good Health have a special mechanic that only exists in the beginner box materials that removes the invested trait. That means in the beginner adventure, we can wear as many belts as we want and amass an infinite amount of HP. One hurdle would be finding enough space on your body to even strap these belts to, but I'm sure some weird campaign-specific witch brews or body-altering demon ichor exists which can grow out your appendages. And with that, we found infinite HP in Pathfinder. Thanks for watching. Hey there, Pathfinder expert number 5000. I noticed your dislike on the video, and the comment you're busy writing, so let me stop you right there. You see, although this could have all been a hilarious way to gain infinite HP, as players become spaghetti monsters trying to tie all these belts together, Pathfinder has a rule against stacking items of the same type together. For instance, since the magic item mentions it's a part of the belt category, you can't benefit from any other belts, and that completely ruins my entire concept. I just added it because I thought it was funny, so let's get to another bizarre strategy that may actually work. But hey, I'm also doing anime-inspired Pathfinder content on my Patreon now. Check it out using the link down below, but back to the video. I call this one Becoming the Moon. Make yourself an automaton just so you can survive long enough in space for what's coming next. This ancestry has a body made of metal and stone, so it should hold up just long enough. Cast Teleport as a 10th level spell and warp to the moon. Then cast Meld into Stone to merge with the moon. Considering we're one with the moon now and physically can't be harmed unless the moon is destroyed, we can ignore our own hit points and substitute them for the moon's instead. But how much health does the moon have, I might hear you asking? Well, the stone wall spell gives us some numbers we can mess around with. If we fold every wall panel together, we get ourselves a 12-inch thick, 20-foot high, 10-foot wide wall with 600 HP. This wall takes up 200 cubic feet of space, so divide the volume of the moon with that, and you have yourself the moon's HP. With a dash of math here and a pinch of cubic conversion there, so long as you can keep casting Meld into Stone, you'll be in possession of 2 sextillion, 330 quintillion, 768 quadrillion, 3 trillion, 618 billion, 246 million, and 886,000 HP. I know, it's still nowhere near infinite HP, but we're certainly getting closer. And hey, if you think about it, maybe it can be near infinite. So long as you can figure out a way to keep combining the masses of different space bodies together, you can mold every stone in the galaxy, nay, the entire multiverse with enough determination. I'm not even gonna try and explain how you can begin the process of doing that though, so appreciate the fact I did the math for the moon and figure the rest out yourself. Yo, Pathfinder expert number 5000, if there's an item or spell you know about that can help with this, shoot it down below. But if all of that sounds like too much work, there's always one final way to get infinite HP in Pathfinder. Yup, that's right, the wish spell. Although Pathfinder wishes aren't as powerful because they specifically mention the DM can deny your request if it's outside the normal scope of the spell, casting wish and asking for all the stone in the multiverse to be combined is an option. Then you can mold yourself into it for infinite HP. Oh yeah, you could also just ask for some extra health, but where's the fun in that? Like, share, and sub to show YouTube that Pathfinder content is worth being promoted in the algorithm. Quite the contrary, I've been Blaine Simple, and I'll see you all in the next video.